All right, Jonathan, thanks so much for coming on with us again. My next question for you here today is, what are the correlations of what happened in Greece to what's happening here now in the United States?
That's a great question, Christian, and it is something that has motivated me to really run and bring Californian attention to. Greece is basically been where we're going. They have approached the solution to their problems in the same way that California is. And here are the basic components. One is that Greece, for many years, was borrowing to operate and was not paying attention and staying within its fiscal constraints. In other words, spending what it has, it spent what it had, plus what it borrowed. And California is doing the same thing. Another aspect is that the first borrowing that they did, they borrowed against projects, they borrowed against bonds, they borrowed against portions of the state government budgets that should have been left alone. All these things are things that California is doing right now. I don't know if your listeners are aware, but internal borrowing in state budgets is every year there are fewer and fewer, if you will, financial firewalls between budgets that should be earmarked for certain things like roads and construction. Now they're siphoning funds right back into the general fund. And Greece did the same thing, and it went unchecked for so long that the time that it blew up, and the reason we're hearing about Greece now every month, I don't know if you've noticed, Christian, but once a month we hear about Greece, right? And
that's right.
Something's happening where things are blowing up in Athens. Well, that's when bond payments that are coming due have to be paid. And there's a crisis about once a month. You can almost set your clock that there will be a riot again about this time next month. About 22, 23 days from now, there'll be another riot in Athens. And that's when the government has to pay on borrowed, on money that was lent to investors that is due. And Greece now is trying to go through austerity, which is cutbacks, in order to gain another 31 billion euro loan to continue to operate. The mess in Greece is deeper than anyone can resolve on a quick fix. And eventually, I believe Greece will turn around, but our California economy is headed in the same direction. We are going into a vicious cycle of borrowing to operate and operating on what we borrow. And that cycle is a lot harder to be stopped than we think. And we have to stop at this election cycle. The next Assembly and Senate that sits in the California legislature has to be serious about living within our means, creating a realistic budget, and not overspending. And I don't know if you know this, Christian, but the budget that has been approved for next year, again, is a smoke and mirrors budget in California. They are assuming that Prop 30 is going to pass, which is the tax increase. And they're also assuming on tax revenue, which I think California is not going to collect because businesses are closing left and right like crazy. So it's an assumptive budget, something else that Greece did for many years, instead of a realistic budget. And spending has not been curbed. So we're headed to the same disaster that Greece is in.
That's right. And Jonathan, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were actually born in Greece, isn't that right?
No, I was not born in Greece. I was born in San Francisco, but I grew up in Greece. I did a lot of my growing up years in Greece. So
you grew up there, so you would know.
Both my parents are Greek. They immigrated to the United States back in the 60s and became citizens right at the end of 1969, 1970. And then we returned to Greece. My father was a minister. We went and did work there, church work in Greece, and helped people. Basically, all my growing up years, we've been doing ministry. And now I am a first-generation American and very proud to be so. And I love our country and look forward to serving it as the next assemblyman for the 7th District.
All right, very good. Well, Jonathan, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Christian.